afternoon, this is Howard Nima and Vinny Be the Truth, and you are listening to We Are Change Connecticut and watching on Truth Video Broadcasting Network.tv. Okay, how you doing, Vinny?
Good. I had a good time last night on the show with Roger Landry.
It was awesome. I mean, really awesome.
Yeah, I woke up this morning to Jim calling, saying that he had enjoyed it. A lot of people enjoyed the show. I had fun on it. I know you did. Another thing is to, let's get out of the way, remind everybody listening of on the 14th here in Connecticut, down by, where is it?
Down by the river.
The River Revival.
The Naugatuck River Revival Group are collecting garbage and getting rid of it, basically, and a lot of us were all coming down there on the 14th to donate our time and efforts. Now, last year there was a handful of people, but there's a lot of now people that we've been growing and trying to get attention to this subject, and we're hoping that we can triple our efforts for that and get this section of the river cleaned. It's over by the Flatlands. What is the name of that area?
Flatlands?
I think it's Flatlands.
Well, anybody who wants to get involved, you just go to We Are Change Connecticut.
Right, we have links on our link.
Yep.
There's a link. WeAreChangeCT.org.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they do a tremendous job to cleaning this river. They've gotten a lot of press. There was an article written in the Observer about it last season. This is the time to start, cleaning out the river. And he made a wonderful film too that we had a screening of.
In the library.
It was a beautiful, and the wildlife is absolutely incredible. In fact, he did. Kevin did say he would be sending us.
Yeah, they just had to fix up a couple
fix up a few things, and once we have it, we'll air it on the TV channel and on the
We Are Change Connectic's website.
We Are Change website, exactly. And then now we have a lot of other sites too.
But also, just to add one more thing is, it doesn't have to be all activism and political and fighting.
Right. Oh, that's the whole point.
This is something where
it's our world. This
is our world. Getting in and helping. This is like charity or getting involved in your community, meeting people. And doing something good, where you're not getting paid or nothing, you're doing it, charity to help out. So it's not always, calling out politicians and the New World Order and activism. Sometimes, go and clean out the river by, so.
Or whatever it is in your neighborhood.
It's great.
Yeah, exactly. People getting together, that's what they want to stop. So it actually does have to do with the New World Order, Vinny,
Yeah.
Because the fact that we get together to help a community and to sit there and take our time, even if it's, look, a couple of hours is tough in these days. We all have busy lives. But to go there and actually do something just for the sake of the river, for the sake of your community, because this goes through your community. This is, kids, they fish in the river, they play in the river. Crazy, they have to wear shoes, but they don't, or some sort of sneakers. But it's very dangerous because we pulled, right? I mean, shopping carts and sharp bottles and oh my God, broken glass, and it's unbelievable what's under there. I actually damaged my leg pretty bad when we were doing that, but it was worth it, because it really did make a difference, and it was beautiful to see the footage that was put together, that Kevin put together, is just incredible footage, and I was just amazed.
Yeah. So was it April 14th?
April 14th, Naugatuck River. It's at they're meeting at the. It's the Plattsville. It's between Waterbury and Union City. It's that over there, right over there, right before Naugatuck.
28.
Yeah, it's right before Naugatuck. It's in between Waterbury and Naugatuck. It's right over there. There's a link there. It has directions there. Plattsville Road, Road.
And again, just go on the website if you want to get involved.
Just rambling right now.
And and then we'll go back to the Roger Landry.
Yeah, Roger Landry. I mean, it was an amazing show.
We the People Network.
The We the People Network.
Which is up to like 4 million people now. 4
million people.
Because we have Roger on here a lot, so our listeners probably know Roger, but we got to go on his show last night.
And he really did give. He said he wanted a sampling of what we did, and somehow we did it. And I'm listening to. I haven't listened to the rebroadcast. Maybe just about a half and 20 minutes of it. But it was like, yeah, it was. It's like it was great. It felt like that same energy. The energy was great. And
it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We'll probably be back there. They definitely said they want to have us back.
That's right.
And Roger will be on here always.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Roger Landry
nice.
will be joining us tomorrow. Yes, he'll call in and we'll continue our discussions. We were talking COINTELPRO, and we'll continue to. I mean, again, today it's like sort of like a little relaxed. We said that yesterday. They did their show saying this is a relaxed show, and it really sort of came out that way. And this is relaxed because we really, honestly, I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we've been hitting it so hard. You got to just take a break sometime and just like take a breath. I mean, we've had some amazing guests. We've had YouTube attacks. 120 videos were removed from YouTube, individual videos. Anthony Hilder's video was removed. Fritz Springmeier's video was removed. Videos with Roger Landry and the We the People Network were removed.
And he was mentioning how Canada Free Radio, how they got
right?
Their video was removed.
Their videos
and
were
unlike
removed.
us, where we have 2 cameras, I guess they weren't expecting that. And
I guess not.
Didn't even have the original copy. That's not good.
Yeah, so we back everything up here, but honestly, we've lost the Israel thing. I keep calling it the Israel thing.
Yeah, that was the first time.
It was one of the first time we were hacked, where we knew we were hacked on air, and I mentioned it, was we started discussing deeply getting into the Zionist thing with Israel. Now, I have a friend of mine that I posted on Facebook, and she wrote back that this is anti-Semitism, and I wrote back, I think, a very cohesive explanation of the difference between anti-Semitism and Zionism. Because the way the Zionists work, it's COINTELPRO, because they make it's like you are an anti-Semite if you're against our tyranny and our evil and what we're doing. Anything that they do, if you're against it, you're an anti-Semite. So it's a beautiful way for them to put tyranny upon the Palestinian people, and we got heavily into this about the tyranny against the Palestinian people and how Al Jazeera basically shows you something, shows you more. Others do, and now I guess we're terrorists because we're talking about Middle Eastern countries, news exposure, and say, well, can't believe anything they say. Well, so we'll believe everything that you see on TV in America, right? Anyway, we know for a fact that they kick families out of their homes. They take their families out of their homes, Palestinian families, because a Jewish family needs a home. We know this. It's factual. This is apartheid, but for some reason it's condoned and it's okay. But anywhere else in the world, everyone goes against it. And even Amnesty International doesn't touch Israel as much as they should. I mean, come on. Is that controlled opposition too? I mean, sometimes, as I've opened my research and deepened it and opened my eyes and continue to and utilize all my faculties and facilities, there's a lot of COINTELPRO. There is a lot of stuff going out there. And when you really start weeding through it, you got to understand that even, why are they fighting for this particular cause and fighting for that cause, but not this cause and that cause, and ignoring this? Mm-hmm. So you have to really, it does require some, I guess the truth is of the matter is the New World Order has been dumbing the society generally down to where it was said in the interview last night with Roger when we were on, that they make it so complex that it's so hard to decipher. People give up, or they just think it's ridiculous. They slide response, just you're a conspiracy theorist, again, or they don't have the energy to do it.
Yeah, and that's the point, like we were saying. COINTELPRO, that's exactly what it's there for.
That is exactly what it's there for.
They put out disinformation, and then you and your group and everybody trying to find out the truth, sit there fighting with each other, or, that's obviously what goes on in a lot of this. And to me, I always look at money again. Money is the power behind everything. That's why that quote, you want to know who's got the power, follow the money trail. Well, even like in this community, people like, let's say, Doyle Shamlin, William Cooper's boy, who's continued to do Hot, Hour of the Time. These people aren't millionaires. They're not all over the place. They're not a name that still a lot of people know. Why is that? Why are some people getting TV shows? Why do some people, never get in trouble? A lot of this starts to make a lot more sense when you realize that there's really a lot of disinformation and COINTEL.
Right, and because of the attack, what we've done, and I mean, we're taking many efforts, and some things I'm not even going to talk about, but we have now 5 sources of our show when this is done. So if they can't just hack our YouTube page anymore, they have to hack 5 sources, and then we also have 5 other partners in We Are Change that will be having 5 uploads of this show. So there'll be 25 variations of this show, and all the shows that they've been hacking, exactly, everybody is going to continue to upload these shows and spread them, because this is how you fight back. You fight fire with fire.
And this is how they keep the good people, like, where nobody
So
hears
we have
about
to tell
the
them
good
the 5.
people.
The 5 on the rebroadcast were all there. I mean, visually, I'm going to have all these links written, but what they are is you have Vimeo.com, Informed TV, Vimeo.com. I have the whole list. Then there's MetaVideo, Informed TV on MetaVideo.com.
Or MetaCafe.
MetaCafe. I'm sorry, MetaCafe.com, Informed TV. And there's also Truth Talk News on MetaCafe. Then there's Livestream.com, Truth Talk News. So there are 5 sources that you have here, including the Informed Radio, which of course has the archives and continues to broadcast all this information. So we are not going to stop. They're not going to. We're going to identify when we're being hacked. We are not going to be quiet. And the more they attack us, the more they're going to expose themselves as being COINTELPRO agents.
And the more traffic you're going to give us. So go ahead. Thank you. I will say thank you, Hilda, because you know. But anyway, I was going to go. I was going to go back to what was I saying? Well, I actually lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay. We're just talking about, because we really have been under a pressure, and we try to keep it quiet. We explained it the other night. I was like, I mean, we didn't want to go out and do this. I mean, as far as having to, start. You want to show. What you basically said is we're trying to talk to you with an open mind and to have information. And now what you really want us to do is show our teeth. Well, we have teeth. Okay, the old idea, the old adage of the eugenist Teddy Roosevelt, eugenicist Teddy Roosevelt, who said, speak soft but carry a big stick. Well, we don't speak soft.
Or back in an animal.
But we also carry a big stick. We speak loudly and carry a big stick. But like any red-blooded American should, we defend our rights. We're not afraid to defend our liberty. We're not afraid of you. We do not fear you.
Well, let me now that what I wanted to say before was where the people that seem to be doing the most honest, and people that that I seem to trust the most are the people that like us that don't have the backing. There's a lot of good people, and like I was saying before, the people that have done so much. Again, Fritz Brigmeyer, who we've had on here, jail sentence, comes out, he's trying to sell his books, doesn't have a lot of money. Fritz Brigmeyer, you would think is such a big thing in this truth movement or whatever. A lot of people, William Cooper and like I said, Doyle, why are these people, why is their message still not getting out there? Why are they not on, AM radio? Why are they, and people like us are doing the same thing, and the people that are the good people don't get that backing, because you listeners have to understand, the people that have the money to back stations and all this, they're the evil ones. They're big business. That's why they could do the advertising. And
right.
It's that's
why it's limiting.
For people to not sell out. You sell out and you'll get the backing and you'll have the money. And it doesn't have to be just radio. That goes for music and everything. To tie in even music. Why when you think rap do people think Jay-Z, 50 Cent, people like that? I'll tell you why. Because they're sellouts. And they're backed by the big companies. That's why they're at Yankee Stadium, Jay-Z singing. Why is Immortal Technique not there? Immortal Technique is not a sellout. And he's got to do his own thing, just like we're doing. And a lot of other people. Because you don't sell out. And that's why it's so important, these networking communities like Roger Landry's doing, and a lot of people, to where it's us again, the people. not the big business. You know, it's so easy to sell out, and the real good people, they're never going to sell out, and that's why you're never going to see them on the mainstream stuff. So you got to look, you got to help support, just like we asked for you to help and upload our videos and do things like that. We don't ask for money or nothing. Just
right. All the videos, everything that we put, all the shows are all embeddable. You can get them, share them, put them on your pages, put them everywhere. Share this information. It's like the fact that we are attacked by COINTELPRO, the fact that we're being attacked and hacked and they're taking our videos down, and if you have any sense of truth, wouldn't that be something that you'd want to share? I mean, wow, my goodness, they're attacking these people because their information is accurate. Because it is. Because we swear to it. That anything that's a fact is a fact, and we don't work for no one.
We did not sell out.
The information is real. I've stated it on real. I swear on a Bible. I swear on the stand. And the reason why we're not able that they can't lock us up, but of course they can take us away as terrorists. They want to label us terrorists so they can, because legally what we're doing is legal, 100%. It's freedom of speech, fair use. Anybody can use this. Take it, and this is not done for profit. Okay? So you have to understand that because we have the protections under the Constitution that nobody seems to care about anymore, that they really can't mess with us. Because we are saying facts, we are not slandering. But they want to make it illegal. I read that in the newspaper today. They want to make it illegal in Connecticut. Oh, I didn't even tell you. I read this in today's newspaper, in today's Current, an article. I'll get the article because the paper's inside. I couldn't believe it. Where for students, I guess I can overview it. It's from the Current. Students, not about teachers, bad professors, and in college and all that and stuff like that. That they can't write up or use freedom of speech against their teachers, telling them that they, whatever. And that would be, that they could actually make it criminal to do that. I mean, this is where this society is going, ladies and gentlemen. You understand?
Oh, mention your vaccine thing, your picture too in the video.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. Go on, this is what you should do. Google, it'll probably come up. Google, what was how did it go? It went, no,
vaccine, no kisses?
No, not vaccinated, no kisses. Google, not vaccinated, no kisses. It is a promotion through vaccinateamerica.org or some crap,
what was it? No, adult whooping cough.
Yeah, right? For adult whooping cough. You get that vaccine for your kid, or no kisses from your son. God only knows.
Right up on the highway.
I mean, God only knows what's in these vaccines. I'm just like, besides the horrific, the formaldehyde and the mercury and the thimerosal and the squalene and all this other stuff, and Dr. Edward Spencer has gone into detail in this on our show, and they took that show down. But the fight continues because we just keep saying it, and we just solidify it. I did put a video up there, and there is a video. It's a 2-minute video, and it shows this billboard of a child going like this,
pouting, yeah,
pouting.
Very mad at his parents.
Very mad at his parents for not shooting themselves up. That's right.
It's crazy.
Okay. That's unbelievable. But it's true. I mean, that's where it is.
Yeah. So I'll go back to what I was saying too with we were talking about COINTELPRO on Roger's show. And for you listeners, I'm not going to mention names because we don't want to make it about that.
Well, actually, maybe people listening don't know what COINTELPRO is, and for those that might be listening to a rebroadcast in the future, give them a hit on what it actually is, an explanation, a definition, a Wikipedia definition.
Is admitted.
I hate Wikipedia.
Yeah, but again, that's what people, just type it right in. Wikipedia will tell you it was created in 1967 by Hoover and Ted Gunderson, head of the FBI. And they were created, from my understanding, is because of Kennedy, really. A lot of people started coming out because of Kennedy, and that's when the whole conspiracy theory thing started, where they right away had to come up with a way to label these people that weren't buying the Oswald story. So that's really when the conspiracy theory was created by the FBI, and started in '67 as like an actual group, an arm of the FBI to go out, and it says right there on Wikipedia and other places, to infiltrate not just big people and rappers and this and that, to infiltrate people like us and just regular activists and you know, truth seekers, whatever. That's their goal, and that's why it's really important for this issue to be talked about. A lot of people who get waken up to this, just like us, you don't know all this stuff in the beginning. You're just all excited about this new information that you're getting. You're just like, oh my God, you know, that's not what the TV said, and you're like, wow, you know, this person's great. They're giving me this alternative information. But then, unfortunately, you know, I found out in a lot of people, and people that I call like the insiders, once you get involved, you start to see the true face of people and inside information. And just because they're giving alternative information than the media doesn't mean that they're giving you everything, which is what you'll find out through your own research. And that's why I'm not going to say names or mention anything. You can watch the videos. I'm sure everybody already has their own opinions about a lot of people. And so for the people that are just really learning is where it's the most important, I feel.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying I'm reaching out to people to say, don't go to the big people. Go to the little guys. Go to the ones that aren't sellouts. And I'm saying it over and over, sellouts that sell out for certain people that you don't know about, certain companies and this and that. And you should go with the people, not just us, all the people like us, listen to this type of information all the time, all over the place. We, you know, advertise a lot of people. Do more than that, but not the big people, because they're working for certain people. They get paid to give you certain information. And that's why I love what we do, where there's no censorship. Anybody, you can call in right now and curse at us. And
yeah,
say
if you'd like
you
to,
want.
860-866-4344, FBI preferred,
Yeah.
866-4344, 860 area code. Yes.
And that's what I love about these shows, you know, not just
By the way, now the FBI has, this segment of the FBI has been co-opted by the CIA, so it's actually, the CIA is sort of like controlling the FBI in America, but they're not supposed to be here at all.
Yeah.
But that's the truth. That is the truth. Again, I only speak the truth, and with testimony, that's my truth from my own research, and I found it to be true. And I would swear
Definitely,
to it.
CIA was, you know,
Absolutely.
Skull and Bones
It's on
thing
record.
that took over.
It's on record. It's literally on. All this stuff's on record. Cheney's on record. Oh, I can show. Oh, we got some. It's amazing. Rumsfeld and Cheney. You know. Oh, this is great. It's a little quick digression, but it's worth it. Great book. Secrets and Lies: A History of CIA Torture and Bioweapons Experiments. I'm surprised Gordon Thomas hasn't been killed yet, but he wrote the book. It's probably back from, I guess, I don't know, 2000, something like that. But it actually has the CIA study of the assassination. So they have it was written by Dr. Stanley Gottlieb. And what he did was write this is how you assassinate people. This is how you kill people. The CIA reference manual. It is about 10 pages. You can get it online. And it gives you the definition of an assassination, employment of assassination, justification, classifications, how to be an assassin, planning, techniques, manual, accidents. They like accidents the best. Secret assassinations, the contrived accident is the most effective technique. When successfully executed, it causes little excitement and is only casually investigated. So you got to understand, these people are doing this stuff, okay, and they have it written down, I mean, in like verbatim to detail, using the shotgun. A large bore shotgun is the most effective killing instrument as long as the range is kept under 10 yards. It should normally be used only on a single target, as it cannot sustain fire successively. The barrel may be sawed off for convenience, but this is not a significant factor in killing performance. Its optimum range is just out of the reach of the subject. 00 buckshot is considered the best shots for a 12-gauge gun, but anything from single balls to birdshot will do if the range is right. The assassin should aim for the solar plexus, as the shot pattern is small and is close range. It can be easily, it's at close range, easily used at the head as well. Interesting. The pistol, silent firearms,
And
machine
this is back
guns.
then, too, so
this
we
is in
even know that.
1953.
So think of the weapons they have now.
And then in 1975, Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld, in a White House memo, right here, for those watching, okay, Attached is a proposed brief statement for the President to the use of his press conference regarding the Olson matter, the CIA suicide, quote-unquote suicide. Yeah, Frank Olson was thrown from the window of the Astor Hotel in 1953, and he crashed down and didn't even die yet. He was dying. He was alive and everything, and it was horrible, and he didn't jump. He was thrown out. The waiter subsequently came over there from the restaurant, was right there, and he had him say that, he asked him, he's like, did you jump? And he was like, no, like he didn't jump. But that testimony was put away, and all this other crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's not important.
Not important back then. So he just jumped to his death, and I forgot to mention that several hours earlier he was slipped LSD. Forgot to mention that. Mm-hmm. So he was tripping. Okay, but they did throw him out because they'll say, well, he was tripping on LSD. But technically, LSD wasn't illegal at the time, and it was sort of like they were like experimenting with it. Mm-hmm. This is before the Ken Kesey, when the CIA actually went around the entire country dosing America through Ken Kesey in the colleges and on the electric Kool-Aid acid test, which he wrote a book of. But anyway, great digression, because it shows them paying him $775. The family of Frank Olson in 1975 actually get paid $775,000 basically because the CIA killed him. Why did they kill him? Well, he was working in bioweapons research. He was working in bioweapons research, and he was disclosing too much information regarding the use of these weapons, and it was really, really insane.
See, that's why this is so important to talk about.
And this is also the Rockefeller reports in here, because Rockefeller is connected to this.
Of course.
Well, just want, and then keep that thought and just go with it. In the late 40s, the CIA begins to study the properties of certain behavioral influencing drugs such as LSD. This is a Rockefeller Foundation report, okay? And how the drugs might be used to use with intelligence. In other words, for the Secret Service, secret CIA, the secret government. This interest was prompted by reports that the Soviet Union was experimenting with such drugs. So they used this like, oh yeah, this is the reason. But it's really, they were all just, it's all social control. They wanted to bring in this whole concept of mind control, which unfortunately now we're all under heavy in this country. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Good digression, but that's enough. Read the book, Secrets and Lies, A History of CIA Torture and Bioweapons Experiments. It tells you all about the Cold Spring Harbor and all of the other, it ties into the eugenics. It's unbelievable what's in there. Anyway, Gordon Thomas wrote the book. Great book.
Yeah, so hearing things like that, they're very dangerous, these people.
Yes, they're psychopaths.
They take out the biggest people, including President Kennedy and rappers,
John Lennon,
whatever you want to go into.
Oh, so many. So it's incredible.
They're dangerous with that.
Jimi Hendrix.
So hearing all that, think about, for someone who's still like, well, okay, COINTELPRO, why are you still trying to talk about this? Think about how scary it would be if the people that are supposedly trying to teach you and wake you up were actually working with these people. Think about, just that thought alone should make you, a little worried. And where certain people could be leading you. I'm just trying to avoid mentioning names and things, but, for the listeners, again, this is very serious, because these people aren't playing around. I mean, everybody listening obviously knows, how horrible the CIA, and anybody listening to this right now is someone that, understands about Kennedy and all these things, and people in this alternative information already know about the government. But this is the dirty little thing that needs to be talked about more, and does affect us in a big way. Not just our show, everybody that's trying to do things like this. At some point, people are going to try to infiltrate, and a lot of these so-called big shots running this movement aren't what they seem to be, and I think it's really dangerous when you have people that work for, are basically a business. Just like when you're watching Fox News or NBC, it's just a different angle. So it's just as dangerous to me as sitting there watching CNN thinking you're getting the truth.
Yeah, but they literally, but you see, mainstream media just absolutely just is lies. I mean, like, like it's got like a, the truth factor is anywhere from no truth to 40%, 50% truth. I mean, it's never the truth, except maybe if it was like if it involves like a domestic killing or a murder like that. Somebody robs a store, then they'll show you the entire story, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And they'll catch that bastard no matter where he hides under any rock.
Mm-hmm. And
they couldn't find Osama bin Laden.
You remember like Zeitgeist a couple of years ago? Everybody made it, Zeitgeist, and
Zeitgeist
it gave a lot of truth. So right away, people who are new to it, you're like, oh wow, I never knew about the Federal Reserve thing. I'm just saying, a new person who watched that, and you're just like, wow, great, alternative information. This is who I got to listen to now. But then they're giving you that bad information again. There were lies. I'm not going to get into Zeitgeist. That's for a different thing. But there were lies with the religious aspect of it. They weren't telling the 100% truth on all of that. So the newbie, so to say, is learning a little bit, but important information they're still hiding. So
right.
It's not as bad where we're saying yeah, Fox News and then maybe 1% I would say is maybe true, but you'll get a little bit more with these other people. But again, if they're big, I just recommend people to be a little do your own research. But
yeah, listen to what actually that the whole idea of this is, and it is like it's all about the information. It's about the quality of the information and the recognition of it. So you get the information, you hear what we said. I can't believe that. Well, that's the perfect. Great. Don't believe anything that we say. We're not asking you to believe anything. Mm-hmm. We're asking you, again, to research it. Because it is a bottomless pit of evil that as you start digging, it just never ends. You can dig. You'll dig past China. You'll dig through to the other side of the earth.
And you even mentioned before the one subject that's just very obvious to people in this is Israel.
Yeah.
Just take Israel. You don't hear a lot of there.
It's
you
terrible.
don't hear the big time people and the people who are getting money. They don't really want to talk about Israel, and you definitely don't hear. I mean, Fox News, all them, they're all owned by. It's all about Israel, and America and Israel have to. We're the greatest friends, even though they're the ones who U.S. liberty and 9/11. They don't tell you about all the Israeli spies that were picked up and thrown out of here, not Muslims.
Yeah.
Things like that.
The van with explosives with Israeli Mossad under the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah, the mural of the 9/11 thing on the person's van.
Them jumping up in the air. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Conspiracy theory.
But that's what I mean. There's certain subjects which we're not going to sit here because we're not.
It's the truth. We have to.
You got to go find out.
Go find out. Look it up, check it out. This is what's really happened. And it's absolutely true. And there is, again, there's this whole difference. Like I said earlier, the difference between the Zionists and the Jews. I have family members that are Jews. Okay? I know people that are Jewish. Okay?
Yeah, so the people have to research.
It's like to call somebody an anti-Semite because you're against Israel is like calling somebody, because it's a country. Okay? It's a country. But no, it's Israel. I mean, it's America. It's like you're like America. So then, how could you even?
Because of the mind control.
But no, aside from the mind control, but how can you? Just think about that, everybody listening. How do you even make an example of that? What would it be with America? So you hate which religion ties to America?
Christian.
I don't know. I mean, you see what I mean? It's like so you're tying So the country is used as a COINTELPRO operation completely, created in 1897 by the Rothschilds. That's right. And the idea was what they did was they literally created two wars. Here's what they did. The concept of Zionism was created and funded by the Rothschilds, like you said, in 1897 when they got together and decided that they were going to make Palestine the Zionist state. Okay? And the way they were going to do it is they were going to bring all of these people together to this area under this propaganda of this is where the Holy Land for the Jews. So everyone, we want to go to Palestine. And that was the propaganda from there forward, right? What happened as all of this propaganda was being spewed about the Holy Land and they need a Holy Land from 1897. Listen to me, 1897, right? It started, all this information. Then we had the Federal Reserve. Then we had World War I. Then we had the Great Depression, the panics. We had World War II. We had the rise of Hitler and getting rid of the Jews. And who funded Hitler? The Rothschild Zionists. Okay?
And the Rockefeller.
And the Rockefeller. Well, yeah. Well, I'm just trying to put the. I'm just trying to connect the dots. Start connecting the dots. So World War I.
Israel thing, yeah.
Stay on Israel, because it really is from 1897. It's a core element of the New World Order.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not an anti-Semite to be against the state of Israel. You're an anti-Semite if you say you're a dirty Jew. Now you're an anti-Semite. Okay, that's the difference. Or you're a racist. You're against a black, a white, a Puerto Rican, or whatever. Okay, that is division. That is also part of COINTELPRO. To really work to divide the nation, to keep us divided, as all of these leaders are saying, let's come together. Al Sharpton divides us. I mean, this is the truth. Okay, let's be real.
And that's what you were saying about Israel. Israel was like a COINTELPRO thing where.
Again, you know information. Yeah, go with it. Yeah.
Let me take a second to, for people who don't know, think about before it was the state of Israel. There were Jewish people who lived there. And you could see them talk about it and their side of it. They were all friends before the state of Israel came. There was Jewish and Palestinian people living as neighbors in peace.
In peace. The big word, the operative word is peace.
Yes. Okay. And they were babysitting each other's kids. They got along, okay? So the Rothschilds fund, like he was saying, and create the whole thing of, the Jewish people and the hatred of the Jews and what Hitler did. While they're funding him, they're creating the problem, which we always talk about, and they create the problem, knowing, and it was written way before the war that they were going to do this, we didn't mention, about causing World War II to create the State of Israel.
That's
what they do, and they fund Hitler to do this. So now the media, again, all the people who listen to the radio, read the newspapers, which are owned by the big businesses, and these people, like we were saying before. So what do they start to believe? They start to believe what they're reading and seeing, which is, the Jewish people are getting killed, millions of them. It's so horrible what the Germans are doing. And I'm not saying it wasn't, but at the same time, I always mention this, Japan was going into China and doing horrible things. 20 guys raping and killing women and children out in China. You don't hear about that.
The Japanese did was horrific.
You don't hear about it. It was the same thing. Japan saying, we're a superior race to the Chinese. It was the same thing. But all, not to take away from anything, but just to show you that it was all about getting the people about Israel.
He was our ally.
Yes. But
he was our ally.
But to stick with Israel. So it was all about getting the people to be like, these poor Jewish people, this is horrible what's going on.
And yes.
They deserve it. And then you got the Bible and the Vatican, which I'm not going to get into the Bible and all that. But we all know the connection of this being the promised land. So they use the Bible, the Vatican, you got them coming at it with that. You got the war of, how bad Hitler is, and we got to, they just deserve it. They're the wanderers, they're nomads, they don't have a home. The Jewish people lived there. They did have a home. And they lived with Palestinian people, and there was no problem. So then they create, like we're getting to the point of then the State of Israel comes about. And the State of Israel from day one has been nothing but cause war and disturbance over there. Another thing I like to mention, since we're talking about Israel, they call terrorist what the Palestinians do to the Jews. I'd like to say that the Jewish people were the first terrorists there, and they were doing it to the British. If you study your history, the British owned, that they had their military and people were in Israel when it was first created. After the war, it was created. The British, British, Russia, all of us were involved, but the British were the people there. And again, they didn't care to let you in on the information about the Jewish people. It was about a trade route. Israel is like right in the middle of Africa and the Middle East and into Europe. So, it's an important landmark. So the British were there, like a business owner. And what happened was the Jewish people started blowing themselves off and doing terrorist acts to the British, which got the British to leave. and they were called not terrorists but freedom fighters, okay? And then you have the total, then you got America and Britain funding Israel, and we've funded and protected them from day one. This isn't a lie. And people might sit there, and again you'd say, you know, people, oh, they're surrounded by the Arabs, and you know, poor little Israel. Well, how did poor little Israel just show up there and fight off all the Arab countries and Egypt and everyone? Go to your, more homework for you, study the 7-Day War and things like this. How did Israel do that? Because they had British and American fighters and tanks. To this day, they have one of the most powerful air forces and all this. So Israel isn't what you think.
In the 7-Day War, they actually dosed the water supply with acid of the troops, of the Egyptian troops.
You know,
they did. It's true. It's on record. Check it out.
And people like Ariel Sharon, and they're war criminals. Like we talk about George Bush and Dick Cheney.
It's the same thing.
These are war criminals.
Yeah, and you just look. I don't care. It's not about being Jews. It's not, because you know Cheney and these guys are Christians, right, or whatever. So they're evil people. Or Satanists, or whatever they call themselves, you know? No, but it's terrible. I mean, it's horrible things are happening. Just the other day, right here in Connecticut, in East Hartford, behind the town hall, somebody lit candles in a circle in a satanic pentagram and sacrificed a sheep. Right outside, right behind the police station and the city hall. So, I mean, come on. Some, you know, messages being sent here, but you know, this is real. These things exist. People like this exist, and they do evil.
And it's a lot bigger than you first think.
And it's a lot way bigger than you think. And as big as you think it is, it's even bigger. A bottomless pit of evil that you can never get to the bottom of, and that's why it's so important. You know that we understand that. You know that it's all deception. Why can't Israel, if they are their own state and so leave them alone? Let them. Why do they need $30 billion a year of our money? You know, why do they want to go attack Iran and say to protect us and go to war with them and literally to try to do what we did to Japan, to prompt Japan to attack us by cutting off their oil? They're doing the same thing.
Let's talk about we dropped the bomb on them after they already surrendered. Did you learn that in history school? They actually, you know, we've been taught, right?
Yeah.
They're women and children going to fight to the death. We're never going to, we had to drop the bomb. No, they actually, you know, gave up. They signed the paper and everything. And
well,
we still dropped the bomb.
It was, it wasn't a formal, that's true. That's, it wasn't that
formal.
All lies. Yeah, the agreement had been reached, is the way to put it, yeah.
But we just had to test it, see what it does.
Yeah,
make
it's a good idea.
Again,
an
impact on the mind control people, fear.
And then it was fear of, then Russia got one.
You know, and and the Cuba thing, they were point missiles right at us. I mean, you know, talk about fear and the mind control. So that's why this is so important. Certain issues, like I was really happy just to really get into the whole Israel thing. That's really important.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to sit here and bash Israel.
No, but there's many things.
But there's so many aspects, right.
But these are the things that I was saying, that a lot of the people, and if you're on television, just like, you know, to be honest, think about it. If me and you know, let's say like Fox News or MSNBC, whoever, was like, hey, you guys want to come and do a show for us, and we'll pay you a lot of money? We'd be like, well, you know, well,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, that's cool, we could reach more people. But then when you go there, and it's already programmed for you, and then you're going to realize that you can't talk about anybody. And that's where, again, going back to with the selling out. And you know, why you know, I'm so for things like this, and it's not about the money, it's about getting the information out. And I'm all about backing the people that aren't the big name people. I don't want to back the big name people. The fact that you're a big name makes me question you. You know, the fact that you have $1 million and you're not, you know, floating somewhere or heart attack, while so many others, makes me, you know, right away say, oh, I don't know why, you know, not to get into that, but just to bring that up. Yeah. That's why I'm for things like this, and Harry Link and so many people that are just, you know, people just sitting there in their basement. I guarantee you're getting more honesty from these people, and you'll get more about Israel, and if you want to say Khazars or bloodlines, forbidden archaeology. These are things that aren't going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the establishment who's paying for their commercials don't want that information out. You know, that's just really the truth.
It's the bottom line, and it's like, again, it goes back down to just being just the fact that who these people are. Now, these same Rothschilds are like they're eugenicists. Okay, this is, you got to understand. Okay, everyone does go back to. I wrote this on a post today. I hope it didn't offend anybody. I mean, I'm trying to explain it because it's very difficult. The mindset of people that are Jewish, they defend Israel.
They've been programmed.
They've been programmed to. Okay, and you know, the idea is that you have a eugenicist that owns 85% of Israel. His name, or the family name, is Rothschild. Evelyn's a Rothschild. The family is the sort of the patriarch at this point.
And Evelyn, yes, is a man, actually.
That's correct. And his son is another eugenicist, another one. And they're the ones that want to put this carbon tax fraud of global warming on us. Okay, they are the ones behind all of this, and guess who pays all the carbon taxes so that we can all have a greener environment? To whose bank? The Rothschilds' bank. The fact that the Rothschilds funded Hitler, and the fact that the concentration camps and the Cyclone B gas and all of this stuff, they are complicit in the deaths of the 6 million Jews, and actually, ultimately, the 10 million others. And ultimately, just about all of them, because they funded both sides.
Yeah, we can blame them for Stalin and everything.
Yeah. Now, they also funded the Rockefellers and the Morgan banks through the Rothschilds, whose Morgan was their Rothschild's agent. The Rockefellers and the Morgans funded the Bolshevik Revolution. And they killed the Tsar, again, after he had abducted his power. 3 months, 4 months later. Or more. I think it was more than that. Why? Well, they wanted to kill the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. So far as...
And became communists.
Yeah, yeah. And the Romanovs were gone.
That's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
I'm into that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, again, we really know what we're talking about here. We don't just, and it's like I talk to people that they have their opinions, even doctors, about vaccines. Well, I've probably done more research on vaccines than the average doctor, and I've talked to doctors who have done the research that the other doctors don't. And even doctors like Edward Spencer would say, well, it's unbelievable because there is a mind control in the doctors community. They're all programmed
Everywhere.
to the big pharma lie.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in their own little. It's like a paradigm within a paradigm. We know the real. They are in their own little nucleus. The medical community has their own little control going on through the big pharma compartmentalization. They've got those doctors loving it. No, they don't even bother to do the research. They're too busy seeing 4 and 5 patients at a time in 4 different rooms.
And again, who do they work for? Like we were saying, even like a radio show. They work, where do they get paid? They get paid from these drug companies that come and say, hey, sell this and you get some money out of it.
Yeah, they get trips and everything else
so
aside
push
from
this
that.
And
but they're helping you, Orencia is going to help you, but it might give you cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that all these drugs that they might, so they're just not telling you, the fact is that these vaccines have all these things in there that are hurting you.
And not that the people are evil, it's that the people just are ignorant.
They're ignorant, that's right.
That's what they were taught. These are the people that never question. The ones that are like that are the ones who never questioned anything. The ones that, they go to school and whatever they told, they just regurgitate it back and then they go. Those are the ones that never did research. They just remember what they're told is the truth and they could spit it back out when someone says, what's this answer? Well, this is what that person said, so there's the answer. There's no there's no independent research. Except for people like Dr. Spencer, Dr. Horowitz, people that go outside of it, and start, and then they do their own research, or Monteith and people who talk about fluoride, the dentists, because they go to school and they're taught in school fluoride's for this. They're not going in, and then they just believe it. They just say, why would they be lying?
Well, why would I pay $150,000 for college and they lie to me? Mm-hmm. And leave me with $150,000 in debt too, by the way.
And everybody who's probably been in school, we've all remember being in school at one point, and the people that speak out. That was me in college. I got thrown out of college, to be honest with you. Okay, because of what I believe, so school is they don't want free thought in school.
No.
That's just a flat out lie. They don't want independence and free thought, and they want you to this is what we're saying. This is what the establishment says. And for you to go against them, like I tried, you're gone. And that's for dentists, doctors, or anybody.
Rockefeller told Nixon, when he was just merely the governor of the state of New York, that we don't need thinkers, we need workers. And then, of course,
and that's what they
Watergate happened, and there was all that whole big mess up there, and ended up getting a big foul up for Nixon. And interestingly enough, Ford picked Nelson Rockefeller as his vice president. If it wasn't for a couple of missed events when they tried to kill him a couple of times, using like people like Squeaky Fromm and all these other people, might have been MK Ultra, who knows? But it is true that there were a couple of attempts on Ford's life, if you remember. Interestingly enough, I'm just proposing that that's interesting to think about. And then, of course, Nelson Rockefeller would have been president. Wow, that would have been the New World Order. It would just been like totally put into high gear right there. And he lied on Senate panels, stating his wealth being like 300 million. I mean, he was just ridiculous. 30 million, excuse me. It was just really ridiculous stuff. And all the senators, oh yes, everything's okay. Yeah, you got to read a book like None Dare Call It a Conspiracy by Gary Allen. Yeah, you certainly open your eyes to the Rockefeller tyranny and their control and the way they do this. So there's some information for you to read. Read that. It's a PDF available online. The Rockefeller File by Gary Allen. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's that's what it is, this control that they're trying to go. All right, so we have news here.
Yeah, you want to
do a little news?
Stuff? Yeah. You've had
well, let's say on this eugenics a little bit. We've been talking about it. The White House science czar, John P. Holdren, has, these are his words. Now, he has been appointed in 2009 by President Obama. In his confirmation hearing before the Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee, Holdren answered several questions. One of them was posed by Senator David Vider in regards to Holdren's advocacy of an optimum population for the United States in his treatise, Population and the American Predicament, The Case Against Complacency, which was written in 1973. In 1973, you encouraged a decline in fertility to well below replacement in the United States because 280 million people in 2040 is likely to be too many. What would your number or right population in the U.S. be today? Holdren responded, I no longer think it's productive, Senator, to focus on the optimum population of the United States. I don't think any of us know what the right answer is. When I wrote those lines in 1973, I was preoccupied with the fact that many problems the United States faces appears to be made more difficult by the rate of population growth than prevailed. I think everyone who studies these matters understands that population growth brings some benefits and some liabilities. It's a tough question to determine which will prevail in a given time period. How nice. Lower is better for lots of reasons. 8 billion people in 2100 is preferable by far to 10 billion people. How nice. Okay, so what are you saying there? That's like COINTELPRO right there. He didn't even answer the question. So Holdren, who had written a book in 1985 with Paul Ehrlich, he also authored an article called The Meaning of Sustainability, Biogeographical Aspects of the World, which was financed by the World Bank, by the way.
It's like Agenda 21, right?
Yeah, it is. Sustainable, right. Again, this is Agenda 21, but we're getting into the, I'm just going to try to dig into a couple of these things. It's a really long, it's a long article, actually, that was written by Jurian Masson from InfoWars. But it's amazing. It's true. He's talking about, in his book, the eco science, about giving forced sterilization and having sterilants put in food and the water supply, and also in vaccines, which of course the Rockefeller Foundation actually put into place and started implementing into the scientific community as far back as 1985. And you can see the documents where it says that right on their own website at therockefellerfoundation.com. Just go 1985 annual report. And it actually says that they're ready to roll out these piggybacks to piggyback these other viruses and sterilants on the vaccines. Okay? So they're proud of it. 1968 documents also, Rockefeller Foundation, same thing. This is a mission for these people, okay? To depopulate us, to sterilize us. And I'm trying to find the meat of this thing. There was some meat here, I just remembered. Oh yeah, the biggest part of it is in Human Ecology, which a book that from 1973 again. This is the big year for him. He had his book, the first book, and then of course 77 he did Ecoscience, which is really the total eco-fascist that he is. So he's claiming that his views have changed. Here's what his views were in 1973. The fetus, Holdren writes, given the opportunity to develop properly before birth and given the essential early socializing experiences and sufficient nourishment, food, during the crucial early years after birth, will ultimately develop into a human being. So you're not a human being until you are fully developed years after birth. So by putting these things into place, by putting these theories out there, or these actual agendas into society, getting them into the highest places in government, continuing this thought process with the science, you will slowly, slowly develop a population that's going to be completely enslaved and zombies. The zombie disease that's in Africa. They think it might be. They might think it might be linked to a. Sure, it's probably a bioweapon. They're insane. These people are mad scientists.
You know, every time I hear John P. Holdren's name, I think about a couple months ago when me and Hank, we were down at Occupy Wall Street, and I got a video on YouTube if anybody wants to watch. You put in Vinny B. the Truth or John P. Holdren and Occupy Wall Street, but it's like about a minute long, and it's Hank sitting there just yelling, you know, while everybody's going by, and it's the big crowd, and I'm just standing there, and Hank's just going off, John B. Holdren is a Malthusian, and he's going off, he's like, he wants to kill 95% of the, and he's just going off, and I hear John P. Holdren, I picture Hank yelling at Occupy Wall Street. It's a funny video.
Listen to this. This is some crazy shit. These people are insane. These are the eugenicists we're talking about. And they're all like highly respected people. John Holdren.
They wear a shirt and tie.
Paul Ehrlich, in a 1995 article written by Gretchen Daly and Pearl Ehrlich, the authors put forward the proposition that physicians should no longer concentrate on improving the health of their individual patients or treat occurring infections in order to save a patient's life, but rather look to the well-being of society as a whole. This is like the death panels. You know, it's better to, like Bill Gates saying, it's better to have 20 teachers than grandma having that operation, right? Okay, so, you know, it's just crazy. Or taking care of granny, let's just drop her out. Take that pill, one last shot or whatever. So, this is what they wrote. Listen to this. Physicians, by instinct and training, focus on the health of individuals. They must learn to pay more attention to the health of the whole society to deal with the difficult conflicts of interest that often arise between the two. One physician, Jeffrey Fisher, recommends that physicians be required to take periodic recertification exams in which they are tested on their antibiotic knowledge. If antibiotics had been used more judiciously over the past few decades, there doubtlessly would have been more deaths from bacterial infections, misdiagnosed as viral, and fewer deaths from allergic reactions to antibiotics. But a small net increase in deaths would probably have been a reasonable price to pay to avoid the present situation, which pretends to return to the pre-antibiotic era and much higher death rates. So we got to kill people. There's too many people. There are just too many people. Rockefeller Foundation documents. In addition to vaccines, the Rockefeller Foundation is presenting anti-fertility GM food for widespread use. It seems there's no limit to the Rockefeller Foundation's ambitions to induce anti-fertilization compounds. As I mentioned earlier, the 1985, I just talked about this, Rockefeller Foundation annual report underlines its ongoing dedication towards finding good use for the anti-fertility substance gossypol. Yeah, they put it in vaccines, they put it in the food. It's all there on record. Look it all up. Don't believe what we say, but research it to be true. Mercury raises compounds tied to autoimmune diseases. Women with greater blood levels of mercury, this is from Press TV, are more likely to have higher amounts of proteins tied to autoimmune diseases such as arthritis. Mercury is a naturally occurring metal released into the environment from rocks and soils and volcanic eruptions. The chemical element is found in all organisms, but most human exposure comes from eating fish, which contains the organic form known as methylmercury. A new large study of more than 2,000 U.S. women found an association between mercury exposure at elevated levels of a thyroid antibody that is often higher in patients with autoimmune diseases, conditions in which the autoimmune system mistakes some part of the body as being a pathogen and attacks its own cells. That's what it does. So it's actually attacking what's trying to normally happen. It actually attacks the healing process. Previous findings had tied mercury to certain health problems, including heart and nervous immune diseases, particularly in women of childbearing age and young children. The new studies provided the first evidence suggesting that mercury affects the immune system through the thyroid. It, however, cannot prove that the element can cause thyroid or autoimmune disease. Further studies may provide more data about the potential links between long-term exposure to low levels of mercury and developing autoimmune diseases. Well, again, makes sense to me if they're trying to kill us, to weaken us, to make us sick. So to have
one of the things you were mentioning with the thyroids and mercury, one thing I've seen like a year, well maybe 2 years ago, it was actually Heath Ledger before they killed him, was talking about it and not using underarm deodorants and things like that.
Yeah, because of the aluminum.
You're putting aluminum, yeah, metal, right where, and under your armpit, like with the thyroid, it's very sensitive, and I found out about, you know, we're putting metals and this and that.
It's really bad to use that.
Really bad.
Try to get these products. They're out there. Hey,
yeah.
What was good news though, I think it's Aquafresh or one of the kids' toothpastes is now actually advertising a fluoride-free toothpaste, so you don't have to worry about your child swallowing fluoride because it's affecting their sales. Of course. See, if we really get people to wake up,
yeah,
they will just
like organic
listen.
Food.
These are criminals. These are criminals. They will just shift their pattern and they'll back off.
They have to.
They have to, because we'll keep going after them, but they're going to have to, because they can't sell their products. If we all wake up and say, I'm not going to buy a product that has fluoride in it. I'm going to fight in my town or my state in Connecticut
with the food right now too. We're like the first state.
We're the first state that is fighting. Again, I'm so proud
with meat
of this.
filler and things.
Meat filler, and also to have GM foods. There's a bill in this Connecticut House to have GM foods labeled, which should be everywhere.
Which is everywhere else in the world except for here. England and places like that, they got to label it, but not here.
Right.
Not here.
Not here.
Big business rules over your interest.
Absolutely, that's it. See, this is what we have to stop. And then you'll be surprised. Look, you let all these things happen. Let them drill for oil. Let them fix the roads. And the bridges that are crumbling. I'm just waiting. And that's why I like reporting this, because it's almost like prophetic. When it happens, I can go back to this actual statement. When the next huge bridge collapses and 1,000 people are killed. Because that's what they'll wait to do. They'll wait for the next bridge that's decaying to collapse. And then it'll be a big news story like it was in the Twin Cities. Okay? That's how they fix things.
And then the mob will step in, and it'll be a deal for a certain company.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just keep the muck will just get worse. But no, to have our infrastructure. You're talking about the returning veterans. This horrific propaganda that they had on the morning news shows the other day on the mainstream controlled news, where they were showing at the Intrepid the job fair, and then all these companies are hiring. It's so nice. It's so great that they're hiring all the returning veterans. And it is great, right? Yeah, but what about all the other people that are out of work? Why is it focusing on this? So you focus on, the heroes, they should make sure they have the job. Which they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Everyone forgets that. In this totally unconstitutional conflict that began in 2003.
Yeah, I always love to just always mention, take all the money that we're spending in war, and think about all that money being spent right here.
Exactly.
And giving jobs to people.
Absolutely.
Instead of them fighting there, they could be getting paid to build something.
To build the roads. They have the technology to build the roads, to build the new electrical infrastructure which needs to be done.
No, but they rather pay you to go and kill.
No, you are part of the New World Order. You are being deindustrialized to serfdom, where everyone's going to be living in Agenda 21 little stack 'em and pack 'em housing, and there's going to be a high-speed rail, and you're going to have to attach on that rail and ride your bicycle to it if you don't live close enough. Well, actually, they make you live close enough. They'll have it all, everything will be right at your fingertips. You probably don't even have to, you can probably push a button and your food will come up to your door at that time, because they don't want you to they just want everything to be controlled. Mm-hmm. And that was a little over the top, but in a nutshell, they want everything to be controlled.
Well, think about the Matrix. What was the ultimate goal? Basically sit in a pile of goo with wires stuck in you, and you're just a battery. you know, right? Just your body heat or something, dude.
I don't know. It's madness.
Yeah.
So they don't want individuality. They don't want you to be able to have a business. They don't want you to be able to forge for yourself. They want you part of the matrix. They want you underpaid. They want you to work hard. They want you to not to live long. They want you to pay a lot of money for health insurance. So that and then when you really need it, something won't. You know, the limitations always apply.
I was going to say, since we're talking about this and what's going on in America, I want to bring out something again where I feel you're not going to hear this on mainstream, and a lot of people don't like to get into this, but I'll bring it up, and other people that aren't big time, they talk about these things, but the real truth about, you know, the Israeli, America, and Britain thing, most people, if you're listening, you probably still haven't been, you might not still have gotten this information about, like, the truth about the Civil War and the War of 1812. You know, the War of 1812 is the one that always sticks out to my mind, because I remember it specifically, the story that we're taught, and I still think that probably even a lot of people listening to this that know about the New World Order, you don't know about real American history and real history that goes on. And that's what I mean, you know, touching about before, certain topics that people don't get into. When I look, one of the things I said, even when we were at that meeting in the John Birch Society, the thing that I heard was, like, people talk about, oh, martial law. You know, the government's going to declare martial law. Well, something that I don't hear anybody ever mentioning, and that's why I'm going to do it now, is Abraham Lincoln declared martial law, right, which is admitted, and you know, the writ of habeas corpus, all that is all admitted. But what they don't tell you is that there was no, you know, after a war is done, you know, like there's a thing signed, basically.
Yeah, you restore.
You restore it. That was never done.
That's true. And
nobody talks about this. But if you look at it that way, that's when people are like, well, martial law, well, technically they've had the power since the Civil War. We're under martial law since the Civil War, technically. And you don't hear people really talk about that. You know, the sovereign stuff, we've had JM, right, and there's people that do that. You don't really hear, I feel like, the big people talking about that. These are the things that I feel are like the real important thing, the hidden history and stuff. If you don't know this stuff, that you'll still not understand what's going on right now with America. Like, people, obviously, we all see the economy going down, and we see what's going on, and we're reporting it, and everybody's talking about it. But what's the meaning behind it? Why is it? You know, we talk about, you know, that they're globalist and they don't care. But when, through my research, and I think you'll see that it's even a lot more than that, to where deep. America was created, like, really like a purpose. Mm-hmm. And to me, America seems no different than Australia, Canada, and other places. It's a British corporation owned by the British bankers. And you know, people might not have ever heard this.
It is a corporation.
And you might get mad if you never heard this at me and think I'm crazy.
It's true.
But America isn't what we've been taught. Again, we've been taught this, and why I thought of this is to get into the whole military thing like you were talking about, is they want you to have the image that that we were powerful and our founding fathers were like these greatest people ever, and we took on the greatest empire ever, the British Empire, and the War of 1812, where it's admitted they burnt the White House to the ground, they really, you know, beat the crap out of us. But then, you know, the twist is, you know, 1,000 or 10,000 farmers and their wives with shotguns, you know, held off the greatest empire, you know, the greatest military power in the world. That's not true. That's not true.
Rothschild's got their bank back.
Yes. The treaty expired on the bankers. Yes, you're exactly right. And they said, you're going to sign that treaty again. And they did. They did. And that you don't hear no one talking about. These are the things that drive me crazy, and that's when I get mad at some of these big people that
was James Madison.
You have millions of listeners, you know, that are waking up. Not to mention, not saying names, but there's a lot of people out there, yes, that do this, and you have big audiences, and they don't talk about these things, which is what drives me crazy, and why this is so much better, this stuff, and other programs like this.
That's right. And again, you know, I don't say it enough, but it is, again, after all, it's just Truth Talk News, you know, where news the mainstream media ignores is the top story, and your voice is heard. Hey, why don't you guys give us a call out there? It's 860-866-4344. We sort of just been shooting the breeze today, sort of like lazy a little bit, I guess, into the news. But it's all always, you know, it always meets in the middle.
I think everything's been so crazy.
It's
been nowhere but down. We could have gone. We were already like so much that anything since the past couple weeks is going to be a lot easier now.
It's definitely we reached the plateau that we now realize that we can we you know, like, I mean, obviously keep moving forward. But yeah, it was an exhausting thing having all the attacks and then having to put these videos back, and they're still not all back, but they will be, and they're going to go viral. We put it out on the radio last night, and I don't know. I know that radio show that Roger Landry was the host of has a tremendous amount of listeners across the United States. There are over 4 million people in the network, and he started the network, so he is the man that started it. It was probably a good portion of a nice sizable portion. And then it replays and everything, so the whole interview, and so Informed Radio got a lot of promotion as well, and we really should, and Truth War, our broadcast producer and engineer and station manager, requires always praise, and just what we do here is very, you know, this is all for the you know, no personal gain. We're not here to try to make money. I mean,
it's about the information.
It's about the information.
Yeah.
And that's a threat, because we're the type of people you can't pay off.
Yes, we're going to talk about the War of 1812.
There's no sum of money. Listen, I work hard. I spend 50 hours a week feeding my family, and I manage time to be an activist for truth, because my family has no future. My progeny, my son, his children have no future if this continues. And you'll laugh and like, haha, these people are crazy, and they'll, you know, whatever. Then, as everything continues, whatever the next false flag event is, whatever that is, whatever they continue to do to make it harder, collapse. Right? To make it harder for us to earn a living. The more we have to suck on the government tit.
War in Iran.
Right. More war. The lower the standard of living is declined to the point where we're all pretty much leveled out, and that is the goal. So if you understand, now we never really talk about this.
That's what I was into with that too.
We never talk about this, but what is the goal? Why are these insane lunatics doing this?
Why are they destroying America?
Not just America, the world. Why deindustrializing us?
Well, no, but America's been like the superpower, really.
It is, yeah. They have to bring it.
And it's obvious what they're doing, and that's what I was kind of leading into too. Of, you know, trying to get the people who maybe never heard this to think, wow. Wait, you know, maybe the history of America isn't what I thought it was. It's
not.
And it's not, yeah. But do your own research, and you'll find this out. And where we're at now, to bring it into where we're at now, is America served its purpose, basically. They created us to be the military wing of the New World Order. And a lot of things that I've looked at is, they call it the Ring of Power. I don't know if
absolutely,
of course. It's London, the Vatican, and Washington, D.C. And these three city-states, they all have their own law, their own like address, their own military. Like the Vatican has Swiss troops. They go by their own law, like Lex Luger or something like that. This ancient Roman law. They have their own flags. Another weird thing to show is, yes, but there's more. And another thing is they have all Egyptian obelisks.
Of course.
Which why would the Pope come out and be saluting a pagan Egyptian obelisk? Why would the Queen, when she comes out, the President of the United States,
an oval and an obelisk? Not
the oval is for obviously
the male and
the
female.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
And this is all pagan Egyptian.
Absolutely.
So
it's a tribute. It's a tribute, Vinny. Come on.
Yes.
You're a conspiracy theorist.
Well, that's one of the things that I'm all into. Is this? There's a great documentary. One of my favorite. It's called "The Labyrinth of Truth: The Ring of Power." You'll learn a lot about this. The connection with the Vatican, London, and Washington D.C. And that's really like the New World Order to me. Are these three things working together? And you know, London being the bankers, basically, let's say. Yes, they were chosen, but they're the bankers, the Rothschilds and them. And then you got the Vatican being the spiritual, and really, when you look, they have more power than anyone, the Vatican, even more than the Rothschilds. The Vatican, you know, even NASA and people, astrology, every telescope, Hubble telescope, that information can't come out, believe it or not, unless the Vatican okays it. the Vatican has a lot of power. And then to bring Washington, D.C. into it, we are basically the military wing of the New World Order. And to me, and through alternative research, I think if you look into it, this seems very believable that America was basically created this false image of us being the most powerful, and not to take away from America, but they pushed the image of us being this powerful military, and they funded us. You know, just like these people were funding Hitler, they were funding America. They're the bankers. They fund everything. So they purposely, not by accident, and not because they care about America and us people, they were funding America and building up America for a purpose. And, you know, they fund everything. You know, at the same time they're funding the communists, and they're funding democracy or the republic. They fund everything, and it's all for a game, is what I believe. And part of this game is coming to an end right now for America. America was there, like I said, we're the military wing, and I think they knew for a long time that there would be an awakening. Right now is that moment where a lot of people are waking up, and hopefully it's not too late, but America is being destroyed. We see everything, Howard, and we keep talking about your money, everything going down, your value, no jobs. This isn't by accident. This is them destroying America, because America is the only place, no offense to any other country and people listening, but let's be honest, the American people and the country of America are the only people that could stop the New World Order. And this is the truth. Because other countries, including England and other places, they don't have weapons. They've long ago, you know, basically, you know, have sticks and whatever, but they don't have guns. They don't have it like we do here in America. And there's hundreds of millions of Americans with guns. And that's why William Cooper and everyone knows the most important thing for the New World Order is to get rid of the guns. That's the only way they could take down America or steal America from the people. Okay? And what they're doing is they're basically slowly, you know, taking away everything. But yes, it's about the guns, but they're taking away the money, they're taking away everything, so Americans will no longer be able to stand up for themselves. So when the New World Order comes, or we talk about the next false flag, the next event, they want people to not have the money, and you're basically going to need the government to come save you. And that's the truth. And you could look around and see how many people are dependent. And not many people would be able to live without the government and society. Not many people could just, if society ended, could just go in their backyard and get food and get water. So that, to me, this is the plan where they're destroying us to make us weak to where we won't be able to stand up for when this next event happens. So whatever you believe about America, or if you think I'm not telling the truth, just look at where everything's going, and it doesn't have to be this way. This is, again, why we're fighting, and a lot of us are trying to wake up and we're trying to do something, is to try to save it before we can't stand up to the New World Order. And that's what's going on, is they're squeezing Americans, because we are the only people that could stand up to them. There is no military. Even, again, William Cooper, to bring him up, and even a long time ago, they knew it. The Chinese and Russians even admit they could never come here and occupy. If anybody says that to you, it's fear-mongering. You will never look out your window and see Russian troops or Chinese troops out there. Never. It won't happen. They wouldn't be able to, and they know it themselves. The only people that could stop America is America. And that's what's going on.
They're destroying us from within is exactly
that's the only
what they're
people,
doing.
Is us. Because, again, no army is coming and sitting in Manhattan and all over and holding us down, and all of us with our guns and this and that. It ain't happening. They're going to do it to ourselves with the mind control and the manipulation and the staged event. And I got to say a lot of things.
That's great.
Saying.
No, I'm glad. I had to take a little quick break there, so I was listening. Though I heard you, I was outside.
Yeah.
I had to.
Well, I got to say a lot of what I had to say. If anybody wants to add in, please call in.
Yeah, please call in.
Or at 860-866-4344. I'm going to take a break now.
Yeah, please. Yeah, definitely. I'll do some news and
smoke a cancer stick.
Okay. And, gotta get out of that habit there, brother. All right. Okay. Yeah, so we went over that mercury levels there. See what else I got here, some news. In addition to the vaccines, yeah, I went over that. Holdren. I still can't believe, when you look at these people that are actually involved in our government. We have John P. Holdren, writer of all these articles and books and eco-science and all of that. And, hey, I have a caller. Who's there? Hello? Thought there's a caller. Truth, is there someone out there?
Yeah, the caller dropped.
The call dropped? Okay, yeah, give us a call. 860-866-4344. Okay, again, this is Howard Nima and Vinny Be the Truth, and you're listening to and watching We Are Change Connecticut. We're here every Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, being live streamed on Truth Video Broadcasting Network. That's TVBT, TVBN.TV, excuse me. And shout out to Harry Link and Pam Suggs at UnitedTruthSeekers.com. Harry Link at Death to the New World Order. I'm happy that we're going to be having Chris Freedom Flowers will be having a show coming on Informed Radio in the near future. I want to just give a little promotion out to that before we keep going here. But when you think about all of this stuff, John P. Holdren, this eco-fascist eugenicist, is the science czar. You have Cass Sunstein as another as one of these czars, these eco-fascist people. You have the Council on Foreign Relations lovingly bringing us into world government through the United Nations, giving our State Department all their orders. You have NATO ordering our military. You have President Obama defying the Constitution. You have treason across the board. You have a Federal Reserve that is devaluing our currency and blaming everybody else as they steal all our gold. There probably is no gold. No, but they resist an audit of the gold. They resist a true full audit because they're criminals who have hijacked our government and will not stop until they have total control. And they're resisting us the best they can, but they don't want to let the cat out of the bag. Because once there's hot tyranny, there's no going back. And it's like a double-edged sword. It's almost like mutually assured destruction. Because as they put tyranny down on the truth movement, it's going to expose their evil. And there are people that are awake here that know what's going on, that are, we are here and putting our lives on the line. And if you think I'm kidding, you are dead wrong. But we don't have a future without this. We don't have, that's why we all have to band together. They can't kill us all. And you can't have any fear of it. You can't have I mean, people are saying, oh, aren't you afraid, all this stuff? No! What am I afraid of? That's what they want me to be. Anything that they want me to be, I am the opposite. Because anything they're telling you is a lie. And I can tell you that from my own experience. You'll find out for yourself. Dig into the truth. You'll learn. You'll know. That we have a eugenicist science czar put in place by the Rockefellers, who control our government, basically, through the Council on Foreign Relations, which was founded by the Rockefellers in 1921, at least the New York chapter there. All of this is on record. You have a State Department that is controlled completely by these people that are members. Now, the members of the Council on Foreign Relations are also members of other bodies, such as the Bilderberg Group, which is a collective of military, corporate, political, kings, it's just a whole bunch of people. Big oil companies, everything. I mean, it's just a wide range. The list is wide. They meet every year in July. Every 4 years, interestingly enough, they meet in the United States because, of course, there's an election and they have to rig it. So, you know, this is really what's going on. Now you have, again, we're going with these czars. You have Monsanto's own Michael R. Taylor, head of the FDA. Monsanto's former vice president, chief lobbyist. Clarence Thomas, Monsanto. And you wonder why the kids are all getting, you know, there's all this obesity and all this. It's all the shit that they give us to eat.
And why did they get away with it? Because of what you just said. They're putting their people into the positions that are supposed to be to watch The watchdogs are owned by the people they're watching.
The foxes are guarding the hen house.
Just like JFK or 9/11. Who are the people investigating? The people who did it.
Exactly. Now, Obama, all of a sudden, now he's like starting to say, let's stop, and the Senate to make it look bad. This is how all this stuff works. Obama says, let's tax these oil companies. And then, of course, that gets shot down, so it makes Congress look bad.
Yeah, and Obama looked good.
And Obama looked good. Which
he tried.
He tried.
Yeah. He tried real hard for you people.
Why didn't he try real hard in 2008? To tax them so that we would all be like, you know, having less money going to these criminal cartels.
It's all a game.
It is a game. Obama advances a plan to bankrupt the coal industry. I went over that. This is all. So that's what they're doing. They're shutting down the competition. You can buy. General Electric is the only one that can build one, but they won't build them here. They'll only build them in foreign countries such as China.
Yeah, China builds like 10 a week or whatever crazy number of coal factories.
And you know what? It's just us terrible Americans that we're doing all the pollution. We got to pay these carbon taxes.
Do we have a phone call?
I don't know. Is it? Is anybody there? Truth, anyone there? I don't see.
Yeah. You guys hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Who's calling?
What's up, folks? It's Mikey.
Hey, Mikey.
Hey. What's going on, man?
None. I was just yesterday. I was reading an article on. You guys know about the pink slime.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, yesterday I was reading an article. You know, mainstream, of course, how a group of governors headed by Rick Perry were headed down to Idaho or Iowa, wherever the plan is. You know, to support the pink slime. You know, to keep putting it in the meat and try to convince us that it's okay to have. And you know, trying to say how they put the ammonia and the bleach in it, you know, to kill the bacteria.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot ammonia and bleach were healthy for you anyway.
So they do.
So just you guys was just talking about how, you know, they keep poisoning us and how, you know, and stuff like that, where you're going to try to convince us that this pink crap is healthy. You know, so some of these markets, they're not even looking at it. They're like, when we refuse to bring this in the store now, which is obviously hitting their pockets, because now they have to actually use real product. Real,
right.
You know,
meat,
and you know that's expensive. But they say, well, if they don't use the pink slime, that it will, you know, it's going to cost money for us. But I'd rather pay more money to eat healthy meat than eat shit meat.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'll give my money to that before a war.
That's insane, like shit like that. How does people not? I mean, that was a piece. That was a piece of media news. So how do you see that or read that and not? You know, be concerned. They just told you right there, we're going to convince you to eat poison. And that just drives me nuts. I mean, I can't.
Well, good call. Yeah, Mike. It's true. And then they got, like you said, did you say it was like Mitt Romney or someone? Yeah, because they got their little paid whore to come and sell a product, because it's all like a big business. And they got the little whore to come and, you know, no, it was the other one, Rick Perry, who was the one who was the little whore for Gardasil.
Oh yes, Gardasil, you know, whore.
Because that's like what we were saying before, where these everybody's owned. All these people on television, and Mikey, you know, me and you go into like the music. These people that are, you know, are the millionaires and the Jay-Z's and the Hollywood stars. They're paid. They're these people. They're nothing but corporate whores. They're spokespeople, mind-controlled victim, if you want to call them. They're sellouts, and that's what Mitt Romney and all of them are. Just little sellouts for the corporations, Monsanto, and all these companies. It's disgusting.
Hey, Mike, you know, I don't know if you have them in New York yet, if you see them down there, but they have these signs here. I did a video, I put it up today, of no kiss, not vaccinated. No kisses with a kid like...
No kisses. Yeah, I saw your thing on Facebook.
It's crazy, man. And I'm like saying to myself, my God, and right here, I'm just going to, you know, you go wherever you'd like with any questions you want. I just want to read this one thing here. It's from the Rockefeller Foundation, because we were just talking about this. And this is what I'm talking about. I talk about the 68 report, download it, get it. They're proud of it. The PDF is available from 1968 and 1985, the two critical years regarding this. 1963 also, there's some really critical information. I know it takes time to do this. I know it's taking time away from the football games or the American Idol, but it's worth it. You know, or the baseball games now. It's going into baseball season.
Yeah.
So here's how it goes. In its yearly 68 report, it says this regarding implementation of anti-fertility vaccines. On page 51, several types of drugs are known to diminish male fertility, but those have been tested to have serious problems of toxicity. Very little work is in progress on immunological methods, such as vaccines, to reduce fertility, and much more research is required if a solution is to be found here. The possibility of using vaccines to reduce male fertility was something that was needed to be investigated further, and they continue to do this. And by 1985, they said, we have now satisfactorily produced this. Okay? And they started to implement it. And guess who owns Merck? And guess who owns Pfizer? The Rockefellers. It's a So I mean, oh my God! So when the Rockefeller Foundation does something, it's for their cause. So understand that. Understand that they are not these nice people that that everybody in the morning. I'm at Rockefeller Center and they have 30 Rock and and Alec Baldwin's awesome. I mean, oh my God, he's like I don't know how he could do what he does. Honestly, personally. I mean, talk about being a sellout.
They just keep throwing up their Baphomet signs and their 666s.
It drives me crazy. Mike, it's insane. It's right in your face. Right in your face, too.
Mm-hmm. It's disgusting. Let's go. Oh, Rockefeller, like Aaron Russo said, Vinny, you guys seen that with how with what did he say to him? That, do you know what the women's rights was about?
Yep.
Yep.
You know, he said, well, you're stupid. We organized that whole thing.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's on record. He funded Gloria Steinem. Nelson Rockefeller's money founded Ms. Magazine. It's on record. Come on, guys. Everybody, look this up. Rockefeller Foundation.
And again,
and it's always for good use. He also funded the Sex Kinsey Report, just so you know. The Kinsey Sex Report, 1950s, the first one. Ooh, Rockefeller Foundation funded it. All that kinky stuff. Loved it.
Well, it's follow the trail with the money again, where you want to know who's behind it, always follow the trail, and you don't go any further than the people who print the money. These are the people that basically print and own the money. So what is it then to fund everything? It should just be like Rothschild's face on all our money instead of our presidents, because it's all theirs. So what is it to fund, Russia, America, left, right, up, down. They'll fund everything as long as they're on top and they control the strings. And again, just like the music and radio shows, everything, they control it at top.
Absolutely true. And even public radio, NPR.
Mm-hmm. It's a vicious cycle, and it just keeps getting worse. I was actually looking at this thing on the music industry, and I'm sure you guys know this. The sacrifices which are all obligated to do to be successful. But what I didn't know was sometimes they'll set up a sacrifice. Like they'll set up a situation. You guys remember about 10, 12 years ago with P. Diddy, the whole nightclub shootout scene?
Yeah, I do.
Down in the city. Okay. What happened was that his friend Shine, the rapper Shine, he was pretty much convicted for everything and sent away, and Diddy got off.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty much was that whole situation was set up on, Diddy's behalf because he wasn't behaving. So they put him in a situation where, okay, well, that's what's going to happen. And weeks prior to that, he just had signed a $65 or $75 million contract. And he already received the money. So this guy's not going to have $75 million, then they're going to send him away to jail for 20 years. So pretty much that's why that, rapper Shine, he was the sacrifice for it, took the heat, and he went away. And what happened to P. Diddy after that? Blew up like a mansion,
Well, after he set up Biggie too, Mikey. You got to remember he set up Biggie too.
Yeah, well, of course, right. But that wasn't enough. They needed more from him. So not only did he kill Biggie, and whatever he was not doing, he must have been misbehaving, and then he put another setup on him, and just to show you how, and also I was looking is how not that I have a problem with, gay people or anything, but how all they do is to do asexual acts on each other.
Oh yeah, the rappers.
And that's huge.
That's well known now in the rap community. A lot of people are talking about it, a lot of videos. Lil Wayne and these guys kissing each other. Even Puffy. I've seen Puffy, grinding on some rich white guy at some club. I mean, a lot of them are, again, like I say about Hollywood, a lot of them are closet homosexuals. There's no doubt about it.
Well, listen, let's go back
to... From from Will Smith all the way down, man. They all get on these Jay-Z.
Yep. And everybody's like, oh, but they got a wife. Yeah, George Bush, yeah, I understand they have wives, but that's just the image. You know, just like Bill Clinton walked around with a fake Bible. It's an image they put on. You know, behind doors, Hillary's, you know, doing lesbian stuff.
Yeah,
and
Hillary's with
military stud.
Yeah, with what's her name? Hillary's with Kathy O'Brien and in the governor's mansion doing her when she thought that she'd be doing Bill and her, and Bill is off with some guy in another room. So yeah, this is all on record, ladies and gentlemen, all on record. But it's, you know, you get into this insanity of it all. It's just these people are perceived. You know, they have this great PR group. They have this tremendous influence over everything, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to the sexuality of things, and this is very true because like shows like this new show that's Spartacus, I keep going to it. And it's just like unbelievable how much mind control is in this show Spartacus that's on. I don't know if anybody watches it. It's on. I think it's on Stars.
It's on Stars, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
If you've ever, I mean, I really don't. It's really a bore. I sort of like hate it, but I watch it. You know, and it's like the reason is because of first of all, the mind control is terrible. What they're doing in it and what the actual stuff is happening. I mean, I went to film school now and having an open eye view of what's really going on and the messages and the symbolisms and the direct correlations to today's society and the fact that these slaves are revolting and ultimately will die. It's just really like because if you know the story of Spartacus, you know, the revolt failed. So it's just like, and they're doing it for like 3 or 4 seasons, you know, and it's blood and guts and lots of sex and lots of guys sucking dick, and I mean that. Oh, you literally show frontals, they show everything.
Wow.
So it's, they've gotten to
show on ABC to freaking HBO,
right?
You know,
and it goes back to Rockefeller,
and nobody even realizes.
But it's right, Mike.
It's just all, you know, it's all the, you know, ass banging and it's ridiculous. Not, you know, that's. You know, I mean, it's just, nobody says nothing. If you're putting this on prime time, 8 o'clock at night on channel, you know, NBC.
Yeah,
you know,
well, what they're doing, it's intentional.
You know, when they see that, they grow up, and that's going to be okay to them. They keep seeing that, you know, that kids at a young age, because these super fans let these kids watch anything, you know, 6, 7 years old, they're like a sponge. They're absorbing all this shit. And that's why these kids, by 8, 9 years old, they're giving hand jobs in the closet at school.
It's true.
And a lot of gay and lesbian. I mean, I think a lot of us, Mikey, you're like my age, and Howard, you're a little older. We still remember when we were younger the difference. You know, I still remember, only being 33 years old, I still remember it totally different when I was a kid. The whole gay and lesbian thing. There was, you know,
you didn't see it.
It's not. Yeah, it was, and it wasn't like, you know, let's go beat up gay people.
Right. We're not doing that, by the way. This is not gay bashing people. This is just social control explanation of what, and there's a desired effect, by the way. There's a reason they're doing this.
And that there's a big
population.
Rise. There's a big rise. There's no doubt, and it's not like a physical thing. Like, you know, it's the mind control that shows again how powerful their messages could be. That you could actually change the sexuality of people too, and there's no doubt about it. When we grew up, I mean, when I seen a gay girl, a lesbian, it was like this little short girl, stocky, who had like the butch haircut. Like, that was a lesbian, you know, that looked like a guy, short, stocky, like maybe 3 of them in your school. You know, maybe it was like 3, 4 gay guys that were like really gay, and, you know, and they openly about it. And you didn't beat them up and all that stuff. But now it's like, you know, I don't know what the exact number is, but you just see it everywhere. I mean, family, you know, family members.
But it's more than it's just being accepted. And you see, it's using the Hegelian dialectic. And I just want to I was trying to get this. I'm glad I didn't forget. In the '53 sex report, the Kinsey sex report for the '50s, I think it was for like several years, and it got really like ridiculous. They went into like all the stuff that we see in porno, by the way, just so you know. So if you read these sex reports, when you wonder where did they come up with all these positions and where did they come up with all these sex things and all these porno movies and how did the porno industry come to be? And I remember doing research on that, and it was like, wow, and I couldn't believe the way that it actually comes. And it's really from these Rockefeller, again, social experiments through the university, but it was funded through the Rockefeller Foundation, and this guy Kinsey, you know, he dealt with prostitutes and all these other things and all this psychological research, you know, and they started again getting more and more into the sex. And Marilyn Monroe, of course, at the same time was a programmed multiple.
Yeah.
At the same fucking time.
They were passing it around like, you know, like the newspaper.
Exactly, and they were developing this. This is all on record, everybody. The CIA programmed her. She's an MK Ultra sex slave,
Sex kitten.
sex kitten, just like
Anna Nicole
Smith and others. Unfortunately, you know, people like this, and they always end up in the same way. And then it looks as though, they had such a troubled life. Mm-hmm. That's a troubled life because they were literally sexually abused to the point that they blocked out their own personality and created sub-personalities.
Yeah.
It's like they turn these people into Sybil, okay? If everyone's seen
Right.
Sybil, which is really just it's not even close to the reality of it. There are thousands of personalities that come out. It's not even true information if you really research true multiple disorder. But it comes from horror trauma, sexual trauma, violent trauma, horrific trauma. That you block out, like them. So with these sadistic, horrific Satanists, what they do is they basically torture these people, and then they don't remember that they've been tortured. So it's almost sort of like, it's okay, you don't remember, but you do remember subconsciously, and it's a great book you should read, everybody, and support. Go to pentrax.com and support how the Illuminati created undetectable mind control slave,
Fritz Springmeier.
written by Fritz Springmeier to further clarify what I was just discussing.
Yeah, like when you tell me, how they're nice, like, till you're 2 years old, and after that, forget it. They start breaking your arms.
Yeah, at 3 years old is what he says.
Yeah.
You know, Fritz says in the book that when they come out, there's the automatic trauma. The minute it comes out, the smack by the doctor and this stuff. But then you treat the baby good. They say, like, extremely good, no yelling, no nothing. So, nice and peaceful. And then at 3 years old comes the hardcore torture.
That's right.
And that's when they start, then it goes into shock and they break the mind down.
It's just absolutely sickening. And I mean, when I get into children, I start getting, like, my blood pressure is actually rising now.
Definitely.
But I mean, this is unfortunately the truth. And it really is true, ladies and gentlemen. Everything we say here, and that's why we are attacked by COINTELPRO, because we will not be censored. And this information needs to get out there. And they attacked Fritz Springmeier. This is just a really horrific bunch of evil people who have hijacked our government, basically.
And again, like we said before, it's a lot worse than you think.
Much worse. Even as we say, it's much worse.
Yeah, in the beginning, I thought, like you hear the missing kids, and you think maybe a couple thousand. But then when like hundreds of thousands of kids just in America, and then you get into other parts of the world. I mean, it's a lot bigger than you think, and it's crazy when you think about the numbers.
Their throats are slit, their blood is used for rituals. I know it sounds like I'm an insane lunatic. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm crazy. Okay.
Except we say things that they admit.
And we say things that happen to have been caught, like really just bizarre things. Now, hey, did you hear what happened, Mike, about were you listening? I talked about they found the satanic scene behind the East Hartford, Connecticut.
The police station, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
It's absolutely insane. What else can you say, right?
What's that all about? Yeah, disgusting. They might go ahead and police station to boot.
Yeah.
Anything
only if that was us, we'll be penalized. Of course, everybody in the mother would have spotted us.
Yeah, I guess.
Anything going on in New York, Mikey? Any news out there?
No, I've been keeping all my eyes open. Nothing, going on. Just occupy still, pretty much. But otherwise, I haven't heard or seen anything, out of the ordinary. I'll definitely let you guys know if I did. But everything pretty much seems all right for now. But they're planning to keep things calm. Getting everybody relaxed before they come with the big next thing.
Yeah, good point.
So what happens. But I just wanted real quick before I go, Rin, I remember, I think it was you, it was a while ago, though, you were telling me you seen something or read something with a documentary over in Israel and also in the Middle East where he just showed you, how, the Americans have been portraying, Arabs to be the
I think I already know what you're going to say. For decades. Where in the world is Osama bin Laden? Is that what you were going to say?
I'm not sure. I know you were telling me about it, but what it was is how this guy went there and how he, went to Israel and how they were just so nasty and miserable. They weren't like talking, but then he went to the Middle East and they were so nice and welcoming in, to have dinner and everything, and
Yeah, and it was a guy who is a Republican. Like I was saying on our show, I actually mentioned that on the show once. He wasn't a conspiracy theorist. He's a guy that actually, Osama bin Laden did 9/11, and it's years later. Where is this guy? How hard could it be? Like he literally, like it wasn't a joke. It wasn't Borat or some comedy act. This guy was like, all right, where is Osama bin Laden? And I think that's the name of the video, Mikey, is Where in the World's Osama bin Laden? And it's, I remember it's like this, I think he's like Irish, like with red hair, this white guy with like reddish hair I'm picturing. And yeah, he went all around like the Middle East. The worst thing I did see was Saudi Arabia, and I said that on our show when I talked about it. Saudi Arabia was scary. Saudi Arabia was scary, and then again, isn't it funny? That's Bush and our closest friend in the Middle East, basically, is that royal family. But that was scary. Saudi Arabia, total control. But the people again were pretty friendly, and the most friendly to me, maybe I'm biased, but was the Palestinian people. Were very friendly, opened up their homes to this guy, let him come in. He ate with them and their family. They explain how they don't hate Americans.
They don't.
And
they don't. They really don't.
Yeah, and it paints a whole different picture, like I was saying. And then they show where he goes into Israel. And again, like you were saying, Mikey, is we have the image of us being so great, us best friends, Israel and us. But this guy shows here it is an American who's actually looking for Osama bin Laden. Definitely supports Israel, and he wasn't even allowed to take like a couple steps into Israel without, the people, I don't even know what to call it, that I don't want to sound stupid, but the people with the curls and the Hasidic Jew or whatever came and starts, yelling at him, get the hell out of here, you're not welcome, trying to beat him up. Police had to come and like stop the guy from hitting him. Definitely was not welcome into Israel. So
but they're the nice guys, right?
Yeah, I brought it up just again, to show that the difference between Hollywood and what they show.
Well, I want to bring up something again. Roger Landry, who was again a partner. We're a partner in the We the People network, and I have to again mention them a lot. They are a big reason why a lot of people get to hear this show and get to know about InformedRadio.com. Now, Roger Landry is now in alliance with, I forget her name because I'm really not too familiar with it, but a very, very well-known Middle Eastern talk show host who reaches like 50 million people on Al Jazeera. And he's going to be doing a show with her on a weekly basis, and we'll be on the show, of course, in the future, and as a partner in the network. And just just because I really didn't intend to bring it up, I don't remember the name because this is new information.
Someone at B, I think. Right?
Yeah, she's extremely well known. Like she's a tremendous, and she is a peace activist, and and this is the whole truth, and this is why we're going to go into this probably when Roger calls in tomorrow from 6 to 8 here on InformedRadio.com, and she will be talking about peace and the fact that. The people in the Middle East, and she's from Turkey, and they don't hate Americans.
Nope.
If you show the videos that they show us of the Middle Eastern appearances of what you always see them throwing rocks and blowing buildings up and all this violence on the media, the controlled mainstream media. But that's not really how it is. No. It's not indicative. It's like
that's how it is in the South Bronx. Kids are doing that. What's the difference?
Exactly right. In the South Bronx or in the North End of Hartford over here. That's right. I mean, it's a terrible situation, but it's not indicative of the entire country.
Good point. Yeah.
Right. So this is something that was made. Roger made a very clear point of this, and that's what they're trying to expose here in America. That's why the alliance, and she is head of the We the People network. In Europe and now also all of the Middle East and that area. So Southern Europe and the Middle East. So I'm very happy to just mention that it's going to. Well, I mean, this is going to blow up. This information is just going to get everywhere, and they can't stop us.
That's great.
They can't stop us. All right, very excited for Roger Landry and his fine work that he does. It's unbelievable what a true patriot he is on the We the People network. Again, a couple little plugs out, and then Mike, anything you'd like to add? I'd just like to thank Truth War again for broadcasting the show. I'd like to thank the Truth Video Broadcasting Network, TVBN.TV, Truth Video TVBN.TV. I always keep getting that mixed up. 24/7 Truth Talk Broadcasting. Check it out. And then, of course, we are changect.org. Check us out also if you're in Connecticut and you'd like to get involved and do something and be the change you want to see in the world. Check us out on the web.
April 14th, come down to the water.
April 14th, come down to the water in Naugatuck River and the Naugatuck River Revival Group. Kevin's great, and we will definitely need a few hands and pick up a shovel, and you'll be surprised how much we can all accomplish together in a very short time. You will be surprised.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, so have a good day. Good show today, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Call in
It's a
anytime.
pleasure.
Mikey, hopefully I'll see you soon, man.
Definitely, I'll stay in touch with you. I'll give you a call.
All right. Take it easy.
Excellent.
Have a good day. Bye.
That was a great call.
Yeah, I always enjoy Mikey calling.
Hey, I'm real happy. Some good news, actually, but this is interesting. We got to find out who these 10 Republicans are, and we got to figure out that they're total shills. The House voted 228 to 191 to pass the bill with 10 Republicans opposing it. A bill which is a $3.5 trillion budget proposal that would reduce the spending by more than $5 trillion over 10 years compared to President Barack Obama's budget recommendations. And it would force an overhaul of the federal Medicare program and would reduce taxes and spending on certain programs. Sounds damn good to me. I don't know, $5 trillion, considering we owe $17 trillion at this point probably, or close to it. In 10 years, that sounds like a pretty good mortgage payback, wouldn't you think, right? As long as we could somehow not continue to, and the whole idea is to continue to reduce spending. What a great idea. The 10 Republicans who oppose it must be military-industrial, because obviously that cut's got to come from there. And and listen, this is big COINTELPRO, like people like McCain. And then, well, you can't turn down the weapons. We don't, you can't take away our nuclear weapons. You can't. And then the whole, this is ridiculous. Blow the earth up 50 times over. There's just too much. We don't need 150 bases in all these strange places.
More than that.
Well, actually, there's 1,150 bases that are, but you could close 90% of them and still have the security. There is no more Cold War. There is no Soviet bloc. Who's
Honestly,
the threat?
who's the threat?
The threat
is
the stockholders
Yeah.
of the military-industrial complex. That's the threat. Okay, they have to maintain that so that they can continue to fill their pockets instead of finding out better ways to live in peace. But anyone that makes war, that's all they do. What do you do if you make war machines? How do you sell it? How are you going to use it? What, are you going to get dust on it? Who's going to buy it? You need conflict. You got to create it. It's called false flag.
And then you can fund both sides.
Then you fund both sides with the banks.
Make a lot of money.
You make a lot of money. More money than anything. More money than the oil. As big as everyone thinks Rockefeller made all his money in oil, it's really the international banking that made him what he is. What the family is, the truth.
Yeah, he's just like a lieutenant to the Rothschilds.
Yeah, but again, that's true. The Rothschilds' wealth is just immeasurable. I think it's 46 trillion. I think it was estimated at 46 trillion with their interests.
Half the world's wealth.
Yeah,
basically.
Something like 46 trillion. Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, this is the thing, and they don't want you to know who they are. They don't want you to know that they're skimming you. They don't want you to know that they're not paying anything and taking everything they fucking can from you. All right, I'm mad again. That was a relatively light rant. Okay. All right, so tomorrow we're going to have Roger Landry from the We the People Network as a guest. I don't know if he's going to stay for an hour, 2 hours, but he's as welcome as he'd like. We do have a lot more news that we'll be covering that I didn't get to. I have a whole nother stack, which is good. I prepared a couple of days of news. We haven't been doing that. A lot of crazy things going on. Let's talk a little bit about the COINTELPRO.
Well, no, I was just going to mention my article.
Oh yeah! Oh God! Yeah, absolutely.
There was.
Vinny's published.
Well, Dr. Horowitz and Sherry Kane sent out a thing to a bunch of people to answer questions about COINTELPRO and things like how does it pertain to us, the importance, and it's on War on We the People. Is the page, the website. The website.
WarOnWeThePeople.com.
And it's COINTELPRO, Controlled Opposition is the name of it. And there's a lot of people on it, like Vinny Eastwood was one of the guys, Barbara Hartwell, Michael Vera, Jenny Hatch. Then you'll see me and other people. you know, I'm very happy that I was able to get on that.
Yeah,
and that
it's
they,
a great article. Read it.
I
I posted it on Facebook.
That they gave me a chance to write about it, and I wrote a whole big thing in there about COINTELPRO. So if anybody wants to read it, you know, go check it out. And like I said, a lot of other people, a lot more well known than me, that are on there, and they have a lot of good stuff. And check it all out about COINTELPRO.
Well, the other thing is, like, again, you know, one of the things that was funny, like Truth War had said to us earlier when we were talking about the attacks, and we're trying to figure out ways to protect ourselves and to do the right thing, you know. And it's just that it's sort of like an honor to be hacked.
Yeah,
it's
a badge
of honor. And I guess when you really break it down, just like the cross-dressing pedophile Timothy Patrick White stated to me that, hey, you just jumped in with both feet. You know, well, you just seem to come out of nowhere and all of that. And it was like, well, I don't know. I mean, when you really break it down, the first radio broadcast that I did on my own show on Informed Radio was on the 28th of October, 2011. So that's what, 6 months ago? 5 months ago? So then Vinny joined about 3 months ago. So I mean, when you really break it down, I guess I learned two things. I learned that the truth gets attention. I learned that it also gets heat. And when you're getting heat, you're getting closer to the truth. But you got to be careful because you don't want to get too close to the fire because then you get burned. But at the same time, you need to stay close to that flame or they'll burn you. So we always have to protect ourselves by just reiterating the fact that we are spreading the truth here, that we are of sound mind and body, have no intention of committing suicide or anything else, because it seems every time that we say that, those videos get taken down. So I hope they have no hideous plans for us. But if they do, here's my middle finger extended to you for those that are not watching. So all I can say is that, you know, we have to be true to ourselves. And the way to be true to ourselves is to seek the truth, to not buy the lies. How do you feel when you go to buy a car? Do you think the salesman lied to you? How do you feel when you go to negotiate anything? Do you feel like you've been lied to? Do you always have that worry that, you know, maybe you didn't get a fair deal? Well, you're getting ripped off like the worst car deal rip-off in history by buying the mainstream media and the COINTELPRO criminal behavior. So alert yourself to the fact, the same way that you would be a wise and consumer or somebody that's researching, bringing 50 printouts from on every car in the world to research before you buy it, and you know everything and you know more than the salesman, and you do that. Put that effort for buying that new car you want into researching the things we talk about. Put that effort into researching it, and you will never be able to stop, because you will say, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe that. That's not true. Then you further research. Oh my God, it is true. You mean Marilyn Monroe was a sex slave? You mean she was a controlled multiple? I can't believe that. You mean that the reason that there was a whole sex connection between J. Edgar Hoover and the COINTELPRO and the whole thing that was going on with the sex trafficking of children? I can't believe that the FBI would be complicit, that DynCorp Corporation would take children and sell them to Saudis so that